Guys, I wasn't really sure. Okay, I wasn't really sure, but I think now I'm pro-life because of this thumbnail made by YouTuber and internet social influencer Ben Jalapeno.
Keep that little smug.
But then I saw this little bit. Look how happy he is up in the clouds. They did a transparency with Photoshop, so he's kind of up there. But wait, is that baby dead then? He's like, actually, I could have made it if this went through a little sooner. That baby could be in heaven because somebody went a little bit crazy doing this.
Beat a kid in Walmart.
Ben Pepino breaks down major win. Major win. He's still doing this capitalization thing. Ben Shapiro breaks down major win. I guess I have to say it like that. Major win. Major win against abortion.
So there's the procedural issues, and then there's the underlying issue, which is really the one at the heart of the case, which is it constitutional to pass a law that bars abortion after week 6? Now, look, from a pure constitutional perspective, the answer, of course, is it's fully constitutional. No.
You're welcome.
For the vast majority of America's history, there were abortion laws in virtually every state. And obviously, there is no right to an abortion in the Constitution of the United States. You can't point to it. You can't point to anything that points to it. It is emanations and penumbras and an idiotic Supreme Court majority in Roe versus Wade that literally created a right to abortion out of whole cloth.
All right, so obviously this is easy content because this dude is just telling his fans what they want to hear. Just telling his viewers what they want to hear. This dude went to law school, so it's weird because what he's saying here doesn't make any sense, actually. He's saying, well, is it constitutional to do this? Well, it's fully constitutional. But that doesn't mean anything because the Constitution has to be interpreted in court. And what they did in the 70s with a little case goes by the name of Roe v. Wade, where a lady wanted to do this. And the way that the Supreme Court interpreted the Constitution was they said, this is a violation of privacy, basically, which is the 14th Amendment. A due process clause in the 14th Amendment, they said, yeah, this applies here. So this is it's unconstitutional. That's how we interpret this. So what he's saying here doesn't make it. It's just nonsense. Is it constitutional? Yeah. How so? What? But he's kind of just throwing the law school degree like right into the
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Because this one doesn't even make no sense, my bro.
And this is how thin this kind of content is too. Like, I mean, look, this is one of the silliest channels on YouTube, which is why I like to make fun of it because it's easy. But
so let me explain something to you. No.
But even for this channel, I feel like this is just so lazy because now he's going to, in just a minute, contradict like everything he just said. Here we go.
Can also pass a law that allows abortion up till a particular point, maybe beyond, depending on what exactly California is doing and whether the 14th Amendment and the due process clause and the equal protection clause applies to the unborn, right? There's a strong pro-life case that the equal protection clause, right, that everyone is entitled to equal protection of the law, so far as life, liberty, and due process, for example, that should include the unborn, right? This is the
He's referencing the same amendment that they used in Roe v. Wade. So they said, look, you can't violate people's liberty. Basically, this is an invasion of this is a violation of their privacy. He's saying like that doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense to use that same amendment in the same part of the law, same part of the Constitution, to say that the unborn has the right to liberty. This is, even for Ben Pepino, this is a true brain
party.
A brain party.
Party.
His brain's having a real
party
for this one. This one's kind of fun. Here we go.
If that is not the argument that is going to be accepted by the Supreme Court, for example, which it seems would be unlikely, if that's not going to be the argument accepted by the Supreme Court, the overturning of Roe versus Wade would not lead to a vast national ban on abortion. It would lead to significant restrictions in places like Texas, places like Georgia, places like Florida. It would lead to no restrictions in places like California because it would just get kicked back to the states. That was the situation before Roe versus Wade. There were
in other words, hey, come on, if you don't like it, just leave, go somewhere else. This is such simple thinking. It's basically, if you live in a red state, I live in Texas, which contains a place called Austin, Texas, which is a little bit more of a blue area, or whatever, okay? Do you start to see the problem with this line of thinking? If you don't like it, just leave, just to have a totally segregated states or whatever. Because this is almost like a giveaway that he's bailing a little bit, or he's trying to add something. He's trying to add a little spice to his case here. That's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant whether or not some state wants it or whatever. What's relevant is whether or not it's quote-unquote constitutional and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, because Ben's a little bit of a little boy. It's like if he was a little boy and he went to his parents and he was like, look, I did poop my pants, but I did not pee my pants. It's like that kind of thing, where he's like throwing something... He's throwing something into the mix to try to be like, well, look, let's look at this. Let's look over here at this thing that's totally irrelevant. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Here we go. This is good too. We'll go back a little bit.
And obviously, there is no right to an abortion in the Constitution of the United States. You can't point to it. You can't point to anything that points to it. It is emanations and penumbras and an idiotic Supreme Court majority in Roe versus Wade that literally...
Yeah, so this one's funny because he's like, there's nothing you could point to in the Constitution that says you have a right to abortion. Yeah, but there's nothing in the Constitution that says that like a fetus is a person or anything. Any of his arguments, there's nothing in the Constitution about that either. So he's just like, oh, look, it's not in there. You're not allowed. Yeah, but your thing isn't in there either. Okay. All right. I didn't know you went to Harvard Law School too.
None of this is in the Constitution, of course. It's absurd. It's just made up completely. Then, in the early 90s, there's a case written by Sandra Day O'Connor and Anthony Kennedy and that whole clan. And the basic idea of the case is that
are you Googling it? What was all that clickety-clack? He's like, I know this case because I went to Harvard. Hold on, let me look at Wikipedia.
The woman must never be unduly burdened, right? She can't be, that is the undue burden standard, that a woman cannot have to face down an order that has the purpose or effect of placing a substantial obstacle in the path of a woman seeking the abortion of a non-viable fetus. Okay, and it's a mess. I mean, that decision is a complete, absolute mess. There's a plurality decision. Okay, so majority found that a particular law was unconstitutional.
This is sort of funny. He's talking about another big abortion case called Planned Parenthood versus Casey. And it's kind of funny, maybe a little bit telling that he doesn't tell what the actual real world substance of that case was, so I'll read it to you. The case arose from a challenge to 5 provisions of the Pennsylvania Abortion Control Act of 1982. Among the provisions were requirements for a waiting period, spousal notice, yikes, and, for minors, parental consent prior to undergoing an abortion procedure. So, again, this would have been a little bit harder sell for Pepino if he mentioned the details of the case here. But, again, this does not go well with all his other libertarian, there should be 0 minimum wage and all this, keep the government out, when you're also seems to be in support of a law where you have to tell your husband if you're going to have an abortion. That's a tough one with all the liberty talk. And there's no way around it. That's why this is like a goofy political trick. That's pretty much all this is. And we'll talk about Reagan and all the funny kind of stuff of how this battle in the United States started. But there's really no way. There's no way to not be insane and hold these two beliefs in your mind at the same time. That liberty and freedom, and I don't have to wear a mask into the Hobby Lobby. But I do think that the government should force a woman to have to tell her husband about a medical procedure that she said, In Ben Pepino's case, I feel like, honestly, if I had to guess, gun to my head, I would guess he doesn't actually care about this stuff. I think that this is just such a right-wing grift that they just kind of adopt it. And they're like, yeah, I know these people want to hear. There's a certain percentage of attention and clicks and support that we'll get if we kind of this stuff up. I think that's what it is. And then we don't have to talk about the real stuff, like economic crap and all of this stuff. That can just kind of go bye-bye. This is a weirdly worded title of this video by Ben Shapiro called "You Will Be Made to Obey." You will be made to obey. Ben Shapiro It's packed with ads. So we got to hear about Ring, of course. But here we go.
Your whole home is protected with easy-to-install indoor and outdoor cams, and the cams work seamlessly with Ring Alarm. See what's happening from anywhere, all in one very simple app. My wife and I are out of town. We want to keep an eye on the kids.
Bed made of money.
Pull up the Ring app. Alrighty. So let's talk about the current COVID power grab. And at this point, it is an endless power grab because the stats just do not back the idea that we should
So he goes on and on about how this is a power grab.
be putting mandatory masking provisions in place.
It's okay, buddy. Get it out. Come on, let's go.
Or that on a broad scale, we should be mandating that every single human get the vaccine. I think there are certain...
You can... Ben, yeah, I gotta say...
I'm calling bluff. I'm calling bluff.
There's no way you can hold these two ideas in your head. Somebody's lying here. Somebody's doing a little bit of trickery. That the government coming in and telling you gotta wear a mask. If you're going into the Bed Bath & Beyond... If you're going into the Buffalo Wild Wings, you gotta put a mask over that sourpuss. You piece of turd, you. Like, this is just the government's gone too far. This is a power grab. But, however, the government should create laws to force you to carry a child 9 months to term. This is the oldest trick in the book, like, against conservatives. But, yeah, this just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Sorry, guys.
This is a power grab.
Also, and again, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. We've heard this before, but it's a little bit weird to want to violate what's been proven to be constitutional privacy because life is precious. But at the same time, life's just not quite precious for me to put a cloth over my sourpuss when I walk into the Target. I wanted to talk a little bit about the actual Roe versus Wade case itself because it is kind of interesting and it covers a lot of like philosophical crap and all this stuff. But there is some funny stuff about it that's come out lately. And check this out. This is from last year, I believe. In 1973, the plaintiff Jane Roe brought a case to the Supreme Court that would legalize abortion throughout America. So it was quite a surprise when in the mid-90s, Roe, whose real name is Norma McCorvey, suddenly emerged as an anti-abortion activist.
What?
When this first came out, people were crashing their
Uber cars.
So she suddenly emerged as an anti-abortion activist. She wrote a book about her change of heart, spoke at multiple annual March for Life rallies, and even filed a motion in 2003 to get the Supreme Court to redecide her case. Whoa!
Political views. Political views. What?
Quote, I deeply regret the damage my original case caused women, she said at the time. Quote, I want the Supreme Court to examine the evidence and have a spirit of justice for women and children.
Wow, I can't believe this.
As it turns out, that conversion was all a big lie, bought and paid for by the Christian right. In the new documentary, aka Jane Roe, McCorvey confesses, this is one of the funniest take backsies, psych situations ever. McCorvey confesses on her deathbed in 2017 that her change of heart was, quote, all an act. That evangelicals and anti-abortion groups had paid her nearly $500,000 to perform. Oh my God. That just really, there's only one thing to say to that.
Make pee-pee.
I wonder when she was doing that if anybody thought,
I'm calling bluff.
if anybody wandered up to her and said,
I'm calling bluff.
So yeah, she became a celebrity. I mean, this is huge. I mean, we still know that we know this as a kind of a household term, Roe v. Wade. This is a very, very famous person who, this was probably the most lucrative way to cash in on this. I mean, maybe there were some, pro-choice groups or whatever who were like, yeah, you can come to our rally and maybe give a talk. Oh, how much money do I get from that? What? No. Nope. Or a well-funded, right-wing group who's like, yeah, we can just give you endless amounts of money if you just say some crap. Who wouldn't take that deal? Oh, you mean I get $500,000? Like I can buy a house? I can buy a nice car? Or I can go to some rally and be like, good job. I mean, I get it. I can't falter for that one. You know what I mean? Is anyone listening to me?
No.
And that's pretty much like everything around this issue is some kind of a scam. One of the best examples of that is how this kind of issue got started. Let me tell you about a little guy named Ronald Reagan. Before Roe v. Wade in the 60s, Ronald Reagan signed a law that decriminalized abortion in the state in the 60s, okay? That's before this became a distraction issue. So he signed a law decriminalizing abortion all throughout California. This right-wing, that's my president, Ronald Reagan. He made a movie with a monkey, I think. He played a cowboy and had little rosy cheeks. That's why I voted for him. But after Roe v. Wade, they kind of found out that they could get evangelicals on board with like Republican policy crap. This one got them real foam. They were like, "Ooh, this is a foam issue. This gets these evangelicals really foamed. We can kind of just use this as our sort of get out of jail free card forever." So after that, Ronald Reagan signs all this crap about decriminalizing abortion throughout California. Then in the 80s, after Roe v. Wade, he's like, and they realized these evangelicals get really foamed about this. Then he's like, I really regret. I'm Ronald Reagan. Let me try to do a Ronald Reagan.
I'm Ronald Reagan.
And I really regret. He was just like, I regret that. That was wrong. No one should ever have an abortion because it's a political scam. It's a trick. They figured out a way to trick people. That's it. It's as easy as dialing up
Uber cars.
Another funny thing, from what I understand, Roe, in Roe v. Wade, she ended up having the baby. That's kind of ironic. There actually is some pretty interesting stuff in the Roe v. Wade case itself that I wanted to share with you now. Thank you. I'll read you some of the text aloud right now in the decision of that case. Here we go. Ready?
You are morally obligated to beat a kid in Walmart.
Oh, well, if I have to. If it's a legal thing, I guess I have to. So in that case, the Roe v. Wade case, the issue of when does life begin does come up. Kind of comes up a little bit. And I have to say, as much as I'm creeped out by the Supreme Court and all this crap, I find their discussion on this pretty interesting. So let me read you some of this. Texas lawyers had argued, so the Texas lawyers were arguing in favor of basically banning abortions. Texas lawyers had argued that total bans on abortions were justifiable because, quote, life, unquote, began at the moment of conception. The minute that life does this, that's actually the sound. It's from that documentary Life on BBC. This is a new life forming. So they're arguing that life began at the moment of conception, and therefore its governmental interest in protecting prenatal life applied to all pregnancies regardless of their stage. The court said that there was no indication that the Constitution's use of the word, quote, person, unquote, were meant to include fetuses. So that touches on Ben Pepino's thing, where he's like, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can have an abortion. Well, there's nothing that says the opposite either. So you're just kind of having a good time. But hey, we got to give it up for Ben Pepino. He's always having a good time, and he's doing lots of that. And he spends it all taking rides in
Uber cars.
This is the interesting part, I think, to me. The court observed that there was still great disagreement over when an unborn fetus becomes a living being. And I'll read you a quote from their decision. We need to resolve the difficult question of when life begins. when those trained in the respective disciplines of medicine, philosophy, and theology are unable to arrive at any consensus, the judiciary, in this point in the development of man's knowledge, is not in a position to speculate as to the answer. I think that's really interesting, because what they're saying is like, look, this is just right now, this is all speculative and subjective. Like, so you think, oh, life begins at this sound. I think that it begins at this sound. And that's really where it is now. It's just like sort of, we can't say. We can't say. But what we can say, what we do know, and what we do want to focus on is the privacy issue. We can't, I mean, this stuff about where life begins is which was Texas's entire case. It's like, okay, you say that. What about other people who say other things? And then Texas went like this. Well, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. That's something to think. That's a little noodle teaser. They said that, and they realized that, yeah, there's really, it's anyone can do their own interpretation on that. What do we kind of take from this? What's like the bigger picture of all of this crap? This has kind of always been the case with why women have abortions. Women choose abortion for multiple reasons. The most common reason cited is that pregnancy would interfere with education, work, or ability to care for dependents. Financial stress also plays a major role in women's decision-making. Check this out. Just listen to this. 73% of women reported that they could not afford a baby at the time. So it's just funny how these like kind of Ben Pepino kind of right-wing lunatics, how this puts them in such like a variety of impossible situations. First, there's like, oh, we believe in freedom. Freedom to the point where like, it just does this all over my freedoms if I can't go into the Einstein Brothers bagels without a mask. But also I think that the government should force women to carry children to term. There's that. The other thing is like, from what the polling like always seems to be, it's always like a financial issue of having a baby. And having a baby, I think still in the United States, it's much more expensive. It's like thousands of dollars as compared to like somewhere in Finland where it's like $60 to have a baby. But they can't touch any of that because that's their true interest is like there's no, all of them, like every politician in the United States, like no. We don't want to deal with the economic stuff, but they would have to. If you really cared about this and it wasn't just a goofy wedge issue, you would be like, well, let's figure out a way to like that 73% of women who says, I don't have any money to have a kid. You would deal with that. But they don't, because they don't really care about this. They're not pro-life. They're pro-scam. They're pro-scamming. They're pro-this. For them. Just for them. What about that for a pregnant single mother? Nope. She gets this. Okay, since we're in Texas, we're all doing this. I guess we'll talk about the Elon Musk thing. This happened like 5 days ago. Elon Musk backs Texas abortion ban. Claims governor. So this goofball, this adult doofus, what's this guy's name? Greg Abbott? Yeah, Greg Abbott. Elon Musk backs Texas abortion ban, claims governor to no objection. Elon constantly tells me he likes the social policies in the state of Texas. Are these two dorks hanging out? Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk has consistently praised the social policies of the state of Texas during his frequently, what? Come on. What? Of the state of Texas during his frequently chats. All right, either Gizmodo is messing up or I wouldn't be surprised if he actually said that. This is funny too. The interview followed publication of a Forbes article saying 2/3 of college-educated workers would avoid the state due to its new law prohibiting abortion after 6 weeks. Oh, good. This is not slowing down business coming to Texas. In fact, it is accelerating the process of businesses coming to Texas. And I gotta tell you, whether it be Elon Musk, who I talk to frequently, Elon had to get out of California because in part of the social policies in California. And Elon consistently tells me he likes this. So his explanation for, yeah, like even though everybody's saying they don't want anything to do with Texas anymore, my explanation isn't some like numbers oh, look, no, actually a bunch of new businesses move or whatever crap. I actually had a conversation with Elon Musk. Musk reacted to the interview hours later, but not to confirm or deny Abbott's characterization. Quote, in general, I believe government should rarely impose its will upon the people, and when doing so should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness, Musk tweeted, adding, that said, I would prefer to stay out of politics. I mean, if a governor said, Elon said this, and you didn't, you would get on there and you'd be like, no, he's lying, I didn't say that. But he's just like, I'm going to stay out of this. I mean, nothing new here. Elon Musk, an absolute dork. I mean, what else do you need to know? Maybe not the most honest guy. Maybe not the most honest guy, Elon Musk. maybe a little bit of shadiness going on there. So there we go. Just a look. We just got in our learning
Uber cars.
and drove around and learned.
I know RM Brown.
Oh, really? So, in conclusion, please avoid
Corporate communism.
all right? And if you're not already subscribed to my Patreon, I will be doing a review of this, following the similar kind of crap we make fun of and talk about on this channel. This guy, what's his name? Is it Mark Levin? He's got this crazy book that's like at the top of the Amazon charts called American Marxism, which is really funny, goofy, like Dave Rubin kind of crap. And I will be doing a whole separate show on that for all Patreon. You could sign up for as little as $2 or $5. So thank you so much. And please always remember,
You are morally obligated to beat a kid in Walmart.
bye-bye. Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
Exclusive.
Patreon exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
A behind the scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the trash, and we set it on fire. Ooh, these are the most beautiful people of my whole life. Look at these people. Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. Good, nice try. Good, nice try. Good, nice try. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye. I love you.